So in last session we see all the basic CRUD methods here for product controller. We have implemented post, put, delete, get, and get all. Okay, and here we have some exception scenarios also, right? We thought of seeing it, how to handle this in case of exceptions, how we can handle it. Okay, so let's say here during insertion or some updation or deletion, if there is any case, if you can get exception, how we can avoid it. Okay, so if we see in update case, we are intentionally throwing an exception saying that user not or product not available. Yeah, so here we are saying product is not available. So one custom exception intentionally that we are throwing. So here we have message also product is not available. So this is your API. So consider you are sharing this API with some third parties via gateway or directly. If you don't properly handle exceptions and if you share this application, see how they will see your output. If I go to Postman and if I try to call product update method without having that product. So here is our products. Create a product. So using this create product, I can create products into the database. A new product I can add here. So one product I am creating here. So basically it is a put method. Okay. So I'm using a put method and this object is not at all there in the server side. So when you see exception here, it is giving a big stack, exception stack it is giving. So it will show all the internals about your threads, everything, why it is coming, what are all the parameters that you have, about your complete application stack it is returning back. So this is not good idea to return. Instead, you returning exception like this, you can have a custom exception handler. As of now, we don't have custom exception handler. In case of exception scenarios, it is doing it. If you can pass a right product information, your product will be created and you are getting 201. Later, if you want to update it, let's say I want to update color, silver. As it is existing product, I can apply put. Now I don't get any exception here. Still you are getting product ID using we are getting data. Okay, let's see why we are getting it. Calling put method. It is for update product details passing here. Calling update method implementation of your service. And here we are trying to calling by using ID. So must it is available is present. Then it should be saving it and returning it. Instead, it is giving a different message. 24 is correct only, na? Is it what response we got? In post case, is ID is 5. Let's see the database. I think we are doing wrong ID. So this is our product schema DB. Open it. MySQL. Hmm. Use product schema. Show tables. Our table is select products. Start from RPU products. Oh, 52. Right, so ID taken 52. I'm not sure why it is 52. Let's see. By giving 52 ID, try to update it. Then getting 202 accepted. And silver color is updated. So the color from black to silver is updated. Now it is working fine. In case if we give wrong ID, which is not exist, then getting a big exception stack here. I don't want to do that. Still, if you want to see timestamp, even timestamp also not required. For the end user, whoever is calling, for him, you better say a exception message. Don't show your exception names and all to him. See here it is showing your complete implementation. com.rb.ecom service, product service, update product method. So it is showing complete class names, everything. So it's a bad idea to share your application full details during exceptions. Instead, how we can do handling here, particularly in Spring Boot scenario, right? You can have one configuration class, you can say, or utility class, or you can create a separate exception package. There you can just create a package. Okay. com dot rpu dot ecom dot exceptions. Here I'll put my advisor global exception handler. So all my exceptions I want to handle here. This will work like a filter. Okay. So this will work like a filter, and which annotation I should use here is controller advice. Put a controller advice. When this controller advice will be executed, so you can execute this controller advice during exception scenarios. Okay. So you can have exception handlers within it. Okay. So usually exceptions will handle by using try catch, right? If it is a traditional approach, what you should have done is before returning it itself, you should have a try catch method, and in that catch you should have handled it. But you need not to disturb this flow. Why? If I leave this flow like this, a plain flow, it is easy to do unit testing, because while doing build and all, your pipelines used to do, the unit test coverage. For that one, you will be writing some unit test cases. If you have lot of try catches and all here, if you don't follow solid principles, if you do all the logics here itself, okay. So if you forget single responsibility instead of having the responsibility of actually, if you write try catches and all, it will be difficult for you to do unit testing also. So instead you doing that traditional approach, use this one also will behave in the same way. So you can return whichever message you want response entity. You can return with whatever message you want. Let's say if you want a exception message class, if you want to create a message class to put your custom exceptions, you can put it handle product not found. In product not found case, I want to execute it. How this one will execute in case of only product not found, which is occurring here in case of update method. When you call update method, it will go to your implementation. It will check for your object whether available or not. If present, it's okay. If not present, it will throw product not found exception. So that exception will come back here, and as you are returning it, instead of this return statement, a exception will be thrown. That exception you are not handling it, so that straight away it is returning to front end. Now instead of that, here I can have a handler. Exception handler I can put here, and for which exception you want to execute it, put that exception class. So this exception class meant for handling. So in case of product not found exception throughout application anywhere, let it be from update or any delete method or any select method, if you are throwing it, it will come here. And here what you can do, you can put your custom message and you can throw that message to user, so that whoever is calling your functions, they will get this message and they can realize, okay, there is a problem in request. They can realize it at the rate data. Okay, I don't think we added private string, whichever message you want to pass that message. Private string message. What else you want? You want to send date and time? We can send usually current to timestamp must be enough. Too much time it is taking. Source generate getters and setters. Is it that difficult to generate? Oh. Now put your exception message here. Whichever message you want to return, you can return it. Exception message. If you have any better way, you can do that here. Okay, to send your exception message. Not only message, if you want to add something else also, you can do message dot set message product requested product not available. Please check and try again. Message dot set time. If you want to send, you can send. Type date time dot now. Okay, I'll change it to. See, instead of this message, if I copy it here, if somebody try to trace, right, easily they can trace what you are doing. So all your class names, method names, full history of your application they can understand. So better avoid these and have custom exception. So now if I see my exception handler, here I'm setting current time and a custom message, and you can return it. Return new response entity, whether it is a success or failure one. Send it in the response entity. Send it in response entity. You can put here your message as well as HTTP status code. HTTP status dot bad request. So that why you need to send bad request? Can I send OK also here? No. If you send bad request, at least by following HTTP status codes, front end teams or third parties will know that my request is bad, so that they will send a proper response. So now the same example, if you run and see, okay, same example, if you run and see, you should be getting this message instead of getting a big trace that we received before. Hello, am I audible now? Okay, that is all the message. Now my application is getting started. If I go back and try to run the same method now, before there is no exception handler, now I have exception handler. I'm getting a message here 400 bad request, and you can see message requested product not available, please check and try again. So instead of a big trace, now you got a simple and clear message to third party. Instead of this big, when you send this right with the proper HTTP status code, 400 it is written. So users can easily understand and they can report the same problem. If it is using front end, on front end also you can populate it, requested product not available, please try it. So that whoever is end user, he can realize, okay, this product might have deleted. He can refresh his page and he can see whether still that product is available in the system or not. Okay, usually while doing from front end, they will not say these issues because existing product only they will edit. But meanwhile, if that product is deleted from system by someone, then there is a chance that you will be getting product not found. Okay, if someone deleted, again if you try to insert without checking it, if you try to insert, again a record will be created. But I don't want that record in the system. That's why I'm checking again that product is available or not. If not available, throw a message saying that no, no, this product is not available, so that they can refresh the page in actual use case and they can identify it. So your exception handler is calling, and a default log message also it is printing. So exception resolved. Resolved in the sense we handled it. So from there you want to send a message or else some failure logic you want to write. It's up to you. It is up to you whichever you want to do. And now if you see application is somehow end-to-end implemented here. We implemented end-to-end from HTTP methods to exception handling. Now for this application we need to add logs also. In case consider if it is a simple application being in same machine itself, running it in the same machine. I want to add logs here. I want to add logs in each and every method. Good, you can add them. So to add logs, you can use self for J, SL for J. You can add here. You can add starter, SL for J if available. Okay, I think you can add an external API. SL for J API you can add, or else let's see by default are there any logger classes available or not. Let us start from product control. Logger factory, logger factory dot get logger, get for the current class. Instead of creating this big SL for J annotation also available, SL for J, yeah, SL for J also available. If you configure SL4J, then you need not to mention this line number 30. Okay, by default on top of whatever class you put it, right? That in that class, log object is by default available. The reference name is log. By default, log reference name will be available. So you can comment this and you can use SL4J log here. So during post request, I want to put here log dot information about the method execution. I want to put a message here, you can put the message. Method started. In case, right, if something exceptions or any issues were happened, by reading these logs, we can understand up to where that request is traveled so that we can see. This is like SOP that you will write, right, to debug how your code is executed. During productions, as we cannot able to put SOPs, right, in your development, you can use, you have that luxury. But in productions, we can't go and see the console. Or else, when there is a problem, we can ask production team to share the logs. So using log4j, if you put any logs, right, you can ask that logs to share. So they will share. So from the logs, we can understand what's happened. And in case if you want to print your product parameters also here, you can put it so that this product parameters will be printed here. So just put open and close brackets and give the input. This input will be printed here. Okay. So the same thing if you want to do, sometimes we feel that what is the input and at what time that input is requested. If you have logs properly, at least you can ask production team to share so that you can understand up to where your code is executing. Delete product ID, find product for ID only, find all products. Same thing, right? You can apply across, no inputs. Same logs you can apply in your service also. Everywhere you can apply. So for that one, what you need to do all, just the SL version plus. Go to your service implementation. There also you put this annotation. Write your logs. Always it's a good practice to have logs. During development, you may not see the benefit with them, but in productions, right? When a large data is executing, in case if any issues happen, easily you can understand why and when and how and for which ID it is happened or for which object it is happened. You will be having at least a clue. Instead of clueless, having a clue will give you good idea to fix it. Okay, and repository, no need not to worry because it is an interface. You need not to put any logs and put one log in your exception handler also. Everywhere, wherever you require, you put it and keep a exception log here. Log dot. If you want to put error, as it is a exception scenario, we can put that error also here. Exception occurred and print your exception object if you want in case we dot get message. Now see the beauty. If I add loggers, right? With the loggers, if I run my application, see the beauty of it. I'll call a post method. Let's call post method and insert a record. Product ID 6. Something a product add here. iPad. Okay, I'm creating it. So let's see logs. So far we have this application start log. Now we don't have anything. Let's call create. 201 created. And if you see from the logs side, your log is printed here. Create product method started. And where it is started, your controller name also printed. You see here, it is explaining the time also. On 23rd 11, 10 okay, on date 10, time is 21 9 p.m. 35 minutes. At this time, getting this message on product rest control. Create product method is started. And what is your product inputs? Product ID, product name, product color, and Lenovo. And don't bother about printing them, okay? If they are okay to print, you can print them. If you know your product information, if it is okay to print, you print it. If it is a sensitive information, better you not print it in logs also. Okay, if it is users information, security kind of stuff, right? Don't print it, because from logs we can read and understand the production data. Usually production data we should not see. Developer should not see productions data. If it is having a sensitive information, don't put it into the logs. If not sensitive, if it is kind of product information, you can put it. And here also you can say create product is calling from your service. After controller service only executed, and in service also the request is going same. So no issues. Finally I see no issues happening. Fine. Now I'll call put method 102. Great. Between object to object, the sequence it is adding 50 plus. I don't know. Okay, try to update it silver to red color with ID 6. It will not work because the ID created for it is 102. I'm giving 6, so obviously we will get exception. So we got exception message, and go to logs. Now you can see log clearly mentioning error also. And update product controller is called. From controller side no issues, and request went till at least up to service method. There exception occurred message getting from the global exception handler. So this message we printed there. Exception occurred and the reason is null. We printed e.get message, right? It is saying the reason itself is a null. Object is not available and it is highlighting it is with the error. So it is easy way to quickly identify. We can search with error on so and so time. So easily we can identify the problem and we can fix it. Usually this exception because of bad data, nothing to fix. User only should send the good data. In case if there are any fixes required, you can fix them. You can sort out the problem and you can fix them, so that again you can deploy it into production, so that that exception issue will not arise again. Okay, so now these logs are printing in the console. Usually logs not, not recommended to print in the console. In production we don't have any console to watch. I need these logs in a log file. By default, Spring Boot is enabled, log version, log stash is enabled. What all you need to do is add a logback file. Add a logback file in your resource. Just add a logback file here. What we will be having in this logback file, where you want to write your logs. Especially you need not to write any code. Just put this logback file. What it will suggest is, what is your logs files path, what is your log file name, and what kind of appender you want to use. Okay, and in which format the date time you want to print. That's it. And maximum file size. In production while writing this logs, right, which maximum file you want. So you can mention that here. So let's say for day you are getting up to 10 MB, you can mention 10 MB here. Until 10 MB it will not regenerate new file. Until 10 MB it will not regenerate new file. When size occurs 10 MB, right? It will keep that file backup and it will create new file. Until then, it will use the same file. Okay, so do I need to do any additional configurations for it? Means nothing. So by default, log is enabled for every application. You need not to do anything. Just to restart your application and see. Earlier your logs used to print it only in console, right? Now my logs will be traced into the file also. So application is getting started almost. Now request, same exception scenario I'm calling again. Okay, I got a bad request. See now error and warnings also it is printing in a different color because in that logback file we have given different color code. Anyway, it is printed in console, nothing to worry. Go and check your file as well. Where your log file will be created, there will be a logs folder. Under that logs folder, it will be created. See, one logs folder is created. There it is created one logback.log file. Open it. See, your application log is completely printed here. So, product not found exception you got. Now, onwards, when you have a problem, right, you can ask them, provide me log file, which is created on so and so date. So easily they can identify the date also. When they go to the file path, right? Usually file is having the date and time. Any operating system, right, will mention the date and time of created. So on 10/11 at 9:41, this log file is refreshed. So this log file, production people will email us so that we can open it and we can read what's happened and we can understand the problem. Okay, especially people who are working right in production support based applications, you should